Welcome to GZR, Ground Zero.
All right.
Radio.
Here we are.
Here we are.
The little show that could.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Man, oh man.
In the studio with us is Mr. the one and only
Yeah.
Kurt James.
Kurt James. Welcome, sir.
Yes.
Yes. I think it is me, actually. Yes.
It's the real Kurt James.
The real
Gosh.
one and only.
Not the imposter.
Not the imposter. I don't even know where to start on this because,
And not the AI version either.
right, we got the real dude here.
Right?
And, you know, the history is long. I mean, we go way back, you know? And I think it's just so excited to have you here. It was great for us to finally meet up months ago for the first time, but we didn't even know we were meeting up.
Was that cool or what? That was amazing.
It was accidental.
It was an accidental.
Something?
We're talking about amps and stuff. It was an event locally here, and we didn't even know. He didn't know it was Tristan. I didn't know it was Kurt until like 2 days later.
Hey, I'm Tristan. Hey, I'm Kurt. By the way,
It was such a cool. It was such a cool scene that we were paying more attention to our environment than to each other. So we're kind of like talking, hey, what do you think of this? Oh, that's great, But it was so weird because
I know
we didn't pick up on like, hey, I was just talking to you like the other day.
Yeah, yesterday we're on the phone to each other.
Yeah.
And we hadn't seen each other so long.
and seeing each other out of context.
Exactly.
The whole situation. Cool.
Yeah.
You're here.
You're here now.
Well, thanks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So we wanted to bring you in because this show is all about local talent, and you have gone, local and beyond. You've gone around the world. You've done things that a lot of local guys have not done, and your pedigree is long with all the musical acts you've worked with, and you cracked the code of what a lot of local guitar players wish they would have as well. You got to play with the giants, and still do.
Yeah. Well, where there's a will, there's a way.
So, I don't know where we start with this, but maybe give us a little history of how you started playing guitar there. How about that?
Okay, let's go way back to the beginning.
You were 4 years old. No.
Actually, not
Just
that
about.
far off.
I know. I think it was like 14 or something. You already were gigging.
Right, yeah. I come from a family of musically talented people to a certain degree. And so my father had a reel-to-reel tape recorder. And he was a musician. He was an accomplished pianist. And I was looking back at the records, and I found he was on a radio program live when he was 12 years old performing piano.
Good for him.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Go, Dad.
Yeah, so that was an advantage at that point. And then so having the tape recorder allowed me to have a lot of fun and learn about, making sounds and playing them back and all that stuff. And then I got my first guitar at around 10 years old. And then I got real serious at 12. And that's when I saved up and I bought an electric and an amp. And it was like, it was all good from then on.
You managed to blend the jazz and the fusion and rock. And, it's very obvious on your recordings. When you listen to you play, you don't know for sure which direction you're going to go. You're going to throw stuff out. And that's what always caught my ear,
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that started early on for you.
Oh, definitely. Jazz caught my ear at a super early age, and then the rock. It was kind of like, which path am I going to go for? And initially, it was more jazz than rock. And then somebody said, "Hey, man, you got to check out these guys, Van Halen," because I was living in South Pasadena.
Right?
Like from 4th grade to, graduating high school, South Pasadena.
Wow.
So I was into all sorts of jazz and stuff like that. And then when I finally saw Eddie play, it was like, whoa, you mean you can actually have technique, chops, and musical integrity and still rock out and have a blast, So
That
I
was
go,
it.
Yeah. So that was like a giant, epiphany at that point. And it was hard to just go back after that,
No, that's right.
Right.
Yeah, I think anybody who remembers that when that first album came out, especially for me, I was playing the Stones and all this other stuff, and I heard that and I went, uh-oh,
Yeah.
what am I going to do now?
Music
Yeah, but-
has changed.
But it's awesome for you that you had the foundation of jazz and that you could appreciate the musicianship that you heard with Eddie Van Halen. Because other people coming from not the same background may not have really realized how beautiful his intonation is,
True.
right? So I think that it's actually a blessing that you came from a jazz background and then heard Eddie Van Halen.
Right. And one thing that I just was thinking about is that a lot of the guitar players that are interesting, trailblazers in some form or another, seem to have, like Edward was a classically trained pianist before he played guitar, right? And I was into jazz. A lot of these guys that are standouts somehow have something different in their,
In the history,
early
in the background.
upbringing. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I think that rings true in this case, a little bit.
I think we should play a track.
We should. We've got Load and Fire ready to fire.
Ah.
Load and Fire.
Recorded in South Pasadena, California.
There you go.
Really?
Local.
All right.
Here we go.
This is-
Step by step, I grow taller towards you. Level by level, the things that we do, in all that is felt and all that we do.
Oh my God! The funniest part of that was watching Michaela light up when that solo came in. She was like, I mean, that just comes out like a cannon.
Oh my God!
See, that's the stuff.
I hope everybody's wearing their seatbelts, even the people that aren't
That's
in
the
their
stuff.
cars.
I got to tell a quick story about you because we used to go to the NAMM show, right? And here's what Kurt would do. He'd run around and he'd tell everybody to listen to him.
Not everybody, just the people I cared about.
Oh, just me. Yeah, so you got to come hear me play, man. And so you'd like take me aside, and I'm like, why did you just do that? Because now I don't even know I'm here.
Right.
He just torched the place all the time. It was freaking great. Anyways, and that's the kind of playing. I mean, I don't want to, talk this whole thing out, but those licks in there, I mean, it's so well written, so well played.
Like
Yeah.
butter, like butterfingers.
Well, that's the thing, being influenced by the players of the day, Al Di Meola, John McLaughlin, Alan Holsworth, and with the rock edge,
Magic.
yeah, actually there was a guy that used to play at the Studio Cafe with Steve Hooks. His name was Prince Robinson. His real name was Dean, but everyone just called him Prince.
Okay.
And, he was one of those guys. He was cutting edge in the jazz rock deal. And that's what I was really focused on, I mean, I loved playing rock. We had I got together in Orange County in 1979. And the band was called The Source.
Okay.
And we just had like a 40-something year reunion over at Cook's Corner. With Bruce Chavez
You're
on
kidding.
vocals.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so we're going to be playing there again.
Okay.
So a big shout out to Brian Barrett. He's a great local guitar player as well. And Bruce Chavez on vocals. And Dave Hawk Lopez on drums. All OG-OC.
Nice.
OGOC. I like it.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
we were listening to that track, and you were telling us a story about the drummer and about how you got into that group. I think that's worth talking about.
Yeah. So Todd Lyle is from South Pasadena, and like I said, I was there for a formidable time of my experiences as playing music. And Ray Hernandez was the local legend, fusion drummer, rock drummer, all around cool guy. He was like cross between Fonzie and Jimi Hendrix.
Fonzie.
How cool can you get?
Right.
I know, right? So that was like, he took me under his wing when I was only about 14 years old.
Jeez.
And so I started hanging out with the best musicians in the area. And it just rubbed off, I mean, you couldn't help but absorb so much from all that experience,
Yeah, you rise up to it.
Yeah. I mean, but for some reason he saw that I had the desire, and the, like I was into it,
Yeah, you were.
Well,
I remember.
like what you're saying, you do rise up to it, and I
Yeah.
totally get that. But you know what, man? Not everyone can rise up to it. It's only those that really have it in their DNA, that really have it in their bones and their
right.
blood, that can really not only play it but smoke it.
Yeah.
I mean, like
Yeah.
your fingers are laying across the neck of that guitar like freaking butter. I mean, that you can't. Well, maybe you can learn it. So I don't want to discount practice, because practice means a huge amount. But there's also a natural born talent and ear and agility
Yes, right.
that
Gotta be able
has
to hear it.
be there.
Well,
and
well,
you hear it and have the agility for it and the desire to have that agility and smoothness.
Well, it resonates in for me, when I heard Alan Holsworth, Al Di Meola, and John McLaughlin and other musicians on that really high fusion level, it just excited me, but it didn't scare me off. You know what I mean? A lot of people go, "Oh, I'll never do that," or they see somebody like that and they go, "Well, I better quit playing or chop my hand off or something." You know? What I mean?
Yeah.
I was never afraid of that. That was like so inspiring.
Good.
I
Good.
just wanted to I can do that. You know what I mean? I want to do that. I got to do that.
Good.
There was no turning back.
Yeah. Well, that's an attitude of an athlete
I
who
guess.
wants to win the
Right.
race.
That's true.
Right.
You
That's
know?
very true.
An
Yeah.
Olympic athlete.
And that's I really like. I don't see how it really correlates that much with being a musician, but I find myself following the careers of the likes of George Foreman, Mike Tyson.
There you go.
These people that were champions, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
determination.
Determination
Yeah.
and also just an innate skill. I mean, really.
Yeah.
You can teach yourself to play fluidly, but when you're born with it, it's a whole nother level, like you have.
And it can be a double-edged sword, though, because I didn't really take to formal education, so my reading music kind of suffered, because I could hear things and play them without understanding the theory behind it. And in a way that's really cool, but then you kind of get, I don't know, is the word lazy a good thing? It's like, oh, I don't need to study. I can already play it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I respect people that actually, did the work and educated themselves, to
Sure.
read music.
Sure.
And, yeah.
Well, absolutely, sure,
Yeah.
without a doubt, that's commendable. But you can't learn to have an innate talent.
That's right.
It's in the
If
DNA.
you have it in your DNA,
Yeah.
then you do.
Yeah.
That's not learnable. But I appreciate what you're saying. Both sides of
Yeah,
it. There's
right.
appreciation both ways, definitely.
Yeah.
So I'm hearing that you have it in your DNA. It's in your fingers. It's coming out of your bones and blood and right there in your fingers, and it's in your head controlling those fingers. But also you have the ear for it. You have to have the ear for it.
Yeah.
Right? So there's a whole lot of immeasurable intelligence behind the skill that you have. It's immeasurable because we're all taught to think, okay, if you practice enough, you will play well enough. Okay, that is true. There's truth in that. But when you just naturally have it in your ear, in your DNA, in your blood, in your bones, and it's coming out your fingers, that talent or that intelligence level has yet to have been measured.
Wow, how could you measure that? But I will like to interject that one of my first memories as basically a baby, I'm not even sure how old I was. I think I was carried into the movie theater by either my father or mother, and the movie was The Sound of Music.
Oh.
And that was like the first movie I ever saw going into a movie theater, and I remember the panoramic view of the beautiful mountains, and then they swoop down and she starts singing
Yeah.
"The Hills Are Alive" with the Sound of Music, and throughout the movie there's like music lessons, a deer, a female
Right,
deer,
right.
teaches
Right.
you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so
Right.
I mean that was like an indelible stamp.
Isn't
Like,
that interesting?
and then a couple years after that, I remember being very young, and I told my parents, it's like when I hear music, I hear the next note before it's played. It's like I know what they're going to do already. Even the first time I hear it, and I was like 99% right.
High five.
Yeah,
Wow, look at this,
Yep.
the connection here between
Yep.
Michaela. Gert, so
Yes.
she is an accomplished musician. So if you heard her
Meh.
play piano and her songwriting, and everything, this is why this connection is happening. I think
Meh.
it's interesting. You're getting a full analysis here for
Well,
free.
and her respect is legit.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Isn't that cool?
Very cool.
All right.
Should we get into another track?
Okay,
Yes.
I am nobody, but I
Oh,
do
God.
no. But hey,
Please.
no, so I'm nobody. But seriously, no, I do understand the huge intellect that has never been measured behind the musicians that have this natural innate ability to feel it and play it like natural, like butter, like and it has
should we
not
say
it
we
has,
believe her?
it has not
Yeah.
it has not been measured by the
The things that
Right.
measure
scholastic
things.
world.
The measuring
Right?
things.
Yeah. I mean, that's something like Jimi Hendrix, like coming from no education whatsoever, from a very impoverished situation, and blossoming into this incredible songwriting, virtuoso guitar player.
Left-handed, upside down.
Right. I
No
mean,
one else
how
could
do
ever
you
do it.
how do you explain that? You know?
Yeah. We went from Let Me Do to that
I
in
know.
the same era, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, next track is Love for Real.
Oh yeah.
Tasty.
Well, here, let's go.
Once in my life, I'm feeling a passion that is real. All the time.
Yeah, nice.
Right.
We're just jamming here in the studio.
We are just absorbing all those different elements and all the different changes in that song. So tasty.
Air Guitar Center.
Yeah, we're all airing guitar in
Air
here.
guitar.
That's right.
So I wanted to make mention that and I would love for you to go through the other acts that you've worked with, the other artists. But the one thing that caught I was doing a little reconnaissance on you again, and I came upon this Paul Gilbert interview where he talks about you
that
for like
kid.
10 minutes about him learning things from you. I mean, come on, really? I mean, you know, that's the era, though, right?
Right,
You guys were
yeah.
all working off each other, and
Yeah, actually, me and Paul, man, we were hanging out quite a bit, you know.
yeah,
And you know, what a great guy, you know.
yeah. He comes off that way, very, very genuine. I think he's one of the best guitar players around, hands down.
Yes, and it was so cool to be in that place at that time.
Yes. Yeah,
I got to become friends with Paul Gilbert and Yngwie Malmsteen and Alan Holsworth and Chris Poland from Megadeth, one of the most underrated guitar players I've ever heard.
Right.
And some other people, one guy specifically was named Steve Medrano.
I don't think I know of him.
Yes, that's my whole point.
Yeah,
This guy was the
Stop.
shredder of like San Gabriel Valley, East LA. Eddie and Alex used to go see him play.
wow.
Yeah, I mean he lit a fire under everybody's butt, whoever saw him. And that he was one of the guys that Ray Hernandez introduced me to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so just genius level music going down, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
All over the place. It was such an inspiring environment and time,
Yeah.
place and time.
And it was in space and time. I mean, everybody was chasing the dream, right? Everyone was chasing.
And the dream was reachable. at that
Yes,
point.
it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. No, so true. One of the stories I've told before was, we all know Mike Varney, of course.
Yes.
So I remember him calling me, I think, and he wanted me to go to the Troubadour to check out this band that was losing a guitar player. And so he got me in there for free, and I showed up, and I stood at the front of that stage and watched this band play and watched this kid from outer space, and it was Yngwie.
Whoa.
And I called him the next day, and I go, I don't think so.
I don't think I can do that.
Because that's when he was on his way. I'm like, I don't know who could take his place. And that ended up being you, which is just crazy.
Yeah.
Kurt James in the house.
Yeah.
That was one of those moments because not many could pull that sort of thing off. And you could do that. You could do everything else, but you got the gig.
Yeah, that was an amazing thing. I was going from playing backyard parties to headlining the country club and being in the number one band in LA, basically overnight.
Yeah.
They pretty much had a guy, right? But then I heard about the audition, got the phone number, called him up and said, "Hey, I hear you're looking for a guitar player." And they go, "Oh no, we got a guy." And I go, "No, you don't."
Right.
So I actually auditioned over the phone. I played my guitar.
For real.
Yeah, that was
Wow.
back when the phone sounded good enough to where you could
Yeah.
jam over the phone. And,
Sure.
And he's all like, "Oh," and it was like, "Well, can you play tasty bluesy?" And I said, "Please, now play really fast. Now play really heavy." And it's just like, so we did a back-to-back on this phone call probably took place on a Friday or Saturday. I went up going to the Steeler rehearsal place. They call it the Steeler Mansion. It's infamous for being, what it was.
What it was.
Yeah. But so basically it was like a back-to-back, audition thing where the guy, that they thought was going to be the guy.
Mm-hmm. Wonder who that
He
is.
played a couple songs, and I heard it. And I'm all like, well, I got this one.
Right,
So
yeah,
I went
yeah.
in there and I just tore it up, man. And so that was Sunday, and then we headlined the country club the following Thursday.
Wow.
So I was in the band less than a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Played the live show.
Headlining. Yeah.
But that's preparation because you were only on your way with that stuff.
Right.
So that
Right.
I'm sure the moment for that was like, oh, I got this because I'm already there.
That's right.
That
Yeah.
helps.
Yeah,
Right?
I mean, I was ready to go, but still, I mean, as history, becomes this thing that's immovable at this point, right? You can't change the past. Yngwie at that point was phenomenal, like beyond comprehension in my book, because even though I had the chops, I didn't really have that Bach like, and there's two reasons behind this. I was totally into it. I would watch Itzhak Perlman playing violin, and I love that stuff. But I blame it on Coast music.
I never liked that
Okay.
story either.
So when you would drive down right here, it was just down
it's
the
right up
street,
the street. Yeah.
and it said music, everything from Bach to rock.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, well, if you play rock, you can't play Bach.
Mm.
You know what I mean? It kind of like that dichotomy that they set
Right.
on that. It made
Yeah,
me
yeah.
not go for it.
Interesting.
Yeah, but had that not have been there, I
Right.
might have gone for it.
So I think this is a really good setup for Master of the Stratocaster.
That's what,
Oh yeah,
So
Absolutely.
let's play
Perfect
that
setup.
tune.
there you go.
Yep. All right. Holy smokes.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many things to say.
I think the title is very appropriate.
Oh my gosh.
Master.
of the Stratocaster. Well, that what cracks me up is that story you were talking about earlier where you call in the management of Steeler and say, no, you don't have the guy.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That's just classic.
Not yet.
So
Exactly.
the story behind this this tune, give us the background on this because this is just screaming. I mean, this is the defining. This is you
Well,
for that style of playing.
right.
You know.
Yeah. That was. First of all, I started I played every instrument on that.
Okay.
So I started playing the drums only by myself with no click track. Had all the music in my head,
Right.
from the very beginning to the very end. And I think that's very important, to be able to conceptualize the music and before you even play it. You know what I mean? But to be honest, which, I hate being honest. No, I'm kidding. But whenever anybody says to be honest, it's like, oh, so that means you lie all the time, right?
Right. Yeah.
No, but the thing about that sticks with me is it was recorded during the summertime in Mallorca, Spain, at my home studio there that I had back in the day. Mm-hmm. And I was having a little trouble. I was trying to punch in and stuff,
Oh wow.
So I said, enough of that. I'm just going to play it all the way through. I mean, there's a couple parts where I double, just the little harmony parts. But the main solo and the whole thing was recorded in one take.
Wow.
And it was just go for it.
Right.
You know? And there's a lot of
It's got that vibe.
Improvisational moments and a lot of Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah. Oh,
Hendrix
absolutely.
meets Yngwie type of thing,
That's
on
you.
a Spanish highway.
Yeah.
I like that. I like
Yeah.
that. We need to quote that.
What an awesome painting.
Yeah,
that
you'd
would
have to
be.
think
Right?
that if Hendrix heard that, he'd go, "Gosh, dang it,
Wow.
that guy."
Yeah, right? Yeah. So a lot of that the whammy bar with the wah-wah pedal is totally from, like, Look Over Yonder by Jimi Hendrix. I don't know if you heard that.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, I just love that, the spatial, you can break it up. I mean, Eddie Van Halen did it quite a bit too, with the wham, like, you're riffing really fast and then you just throw this chaotic, like, whammy bar just going out of control and then you're
Back on.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, you did it.
Well,
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
I think you pulled it off on that one,
there you
man.
go.
Awesome.
Cool.
Killer stuff, man. Kurt James, how can people interested in what you do, how can they get a hold of you and find you on social media?
Oh, okay. Well, on YouTube, there's the real Kurt James.
The real Kurt
Yeah,
James.
and then I just was looking at it because I don't know. Remember when Google bought YouTube or something? So I had the real Kurt James, but then all of a sudden I didn't have it. You know what I mean? It was like, well, you can't log in, whatever. So I started another one, and then I just looked at it the other day, and they put a number after it, like a 3-digit numeral.
Okay.
So if you see a video that's older, like 10 years old or something, it just says the real Kurt James. That I have no control over.
That is the old real
That's the
Kurt
old
James.
real Kurt James.
Okay.
The new real Kurt James is the real Kurt James with a 3-digit numeral. I forget what it is.
Okay.
But you can definitely, comment on the video, message, and I'm also on Instagram now. I'm just
Good,
trying to figure
good.
out how that
Excellent.
really works. But
Yeah.
you can definitely message me. I think it's just Kurt James Guitarist or Kurt James Guitar or something like that.
Okay.
We'll
Yeah.
find it. We'll
We'll
put a link
find
up.
it.
Yeah, we'll put a link in
we'll
the-
link it in all of our
Oh,
stuff.
and on can I mention eBay?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, you can put your signature right here.
We've heard of
and then
it.
I'd be glad to auction it off on eBay.
Yeah.
Well, I already got a Strat switch.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
knob.
stretch,
But-
the
but,
switch that came off.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So I sell stuff on eBay. Parts, guitars, necks, bodies, you name it, amps.
I didn't know that.
Tubes,
Yeah.
and just look for Pasadena Brown Sound.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah,
Okay,
something
on
easy to
eBay.
remember. Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool.
So yeah, that'll work.
Well, it's
Awesome.
been awesome having you here, and this is like not a one-time thing. I mean, I want to hear new music out of you, and we
Oh,
want to
yeah.
bring you back in here, and I'm going to be on you for that because we're friends, bro,
That's right.
Yeah, man.
From way back, right?
from way back.
From way back, and now you're friends with GZR Ground Zero
That's
Radio.
right. Yeah, you're part of the family,
Yes,
GZR family.
it is.
So you might be interested in what I'm doing at the moment.
Yes, we
Yeah,
are.
good
Tell
point.
us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I've been working at putting together like the ultimate group, and we got this incredible lineup that just gelled recently, and I've been working with Sean Myers, we affectionately known as Sluggo, on drums for quite a few years now, and then we have a brand new bass player. His name's Marco, and his last name is unpronounceable, but it starts with Milos. So,
Okay.
and then got this fantastic singer. I'm so excited. He goes by the name Mandrake. So,
All right, Mandrake. Good.
yeah.
Mystical.
So we're really looking forward to what's going to happen real soon here.
Fantastic. And I know we've been trying to do a show together forever.
Yeah.
We're going to have to make that happen.
Yep.
All righty.
All right.
Thank you so much, Kurt James, for joining us tonight. We're going to have you back, right?
Sure.
Awesome. Keep in touch with us.
Okay.
And everyone that's listening out there, Kurt James, tell us again on Instagram. You have a new Instagram account.
Right. That's Kurt James Guitar or Guitarist. I forget exactly what it is.
And then the YouTube.
YouTube is the real Kurt James followed by 3 digits.
And we're going to put those up on GZR's website so that you can find those easily if you go to GZR Ground Zero Radio on Facebook or Instagram. We'll make sure that we have those links to Kurt James ready for you.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Right on,
So
man.
cool.
I hope that everyone has a killer week. And we will be here, same time, same place, Monday night, 7 to 9 p.m. Ground Zero Radio. Thank you for listening.